Welcome to Yoga with Nicole. This practice is a gentle practice that will warm the body. You will need a couple props, a yoga block or a chair will do just fine. Coming to our mat in easy sitting position, spine tall, crown of the head reaching up, focusing on our breath. Become aware of the inhale and the exhale, filling the lungs completely and emptying them completely. We're going to start by dropping our chin to our chest, rolling the right ear to the right shoulder, warming the neck. And dropping the chin back down and rolling the neck to the opposite side. And rolling it back down and over. Letting go of that which does not serve you in your practice right now. So letting go of the outside thoughts and just being aware of the present moment. And then bring your chin to your chest and roll the head up to a neutral position. Rolling the shoulders up and down the back. We're going to come to a standing position at the top of the mat in Tadasana or mountain pose. Feet firmly rooted, grounding down into the mat as the spine is long, crown of the head up, firming all the muscles. It's a very powerful pose. Breathing in and out. Your next inhale, we're going to reach the arms. We're going to reach them up towards the sky. And we're going to exhale as we forward fold slowly. This is where the prop comes in handy if you want to get your block or the chair if you can't reach your toes. That way you can still get the full benefit of the hamstring stretch. Inhaling as we straighten the spine out into a half fold, making a little angle with our body. We're going to step our left foot back, lowering the left knee to the ground, taking the right hand to the right thigh, inhaling the left hand up, low lunge. In this position, we're going to send the right hip back, left hip forward. So we want to keep them level and even. It's a great hip opening stretch. It's great warming the body stretch. And then we're going to bring our hands to the mat, sending the right foot back, lowering the knees, softening the elbows. We're going to bring our chest and chin to the mat, 8 points touching. And then we're going to reach forward with our body and come into a cobra. So now it's rounding of the spine, warming the back body. Engaging the toes, lifting the hip points up, sending the hips skyward as we find ourselves in downward facing dog. Stretching the energy down through your heels, long back, dropping the head, releasing any tension. Looking up, we're going to step our left foot forward, dropping the right knee now to the mat. Left hand to the left thigh as we inhale the right arm up, low lunge. Keeping the bicep by the ear. We often have some tight shoulders, so bringing the hand and the arm up and back as much as possible will help to increase the flexibility. And again, keeping the hips square. Bring both hands to the mat, stepping forward with that right leg to the top of the mat. Inhaling half fold, using the prop if you choose. Exhaling completely as we forward fold. Inhaling, rise with a flat back, arms skyward, hands to prayer, and Tadasana. Full cycle of breath, engaging the thighs, hugging muscle to bone. Inhaling the hands up, exhaling, emptying, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhaling, curving the spine, rounding it out to half fold, and then exhaling, sending the right leg back, dropping the right knee, and lifting on an inhale, bringing your right hand up, squaring the hips, left hip back, right hip forward. Gaze slightly up, engaging here. Don't be loose, engage all your muscles. Hooking the toes, sending that front leg back to to meet it into a plank, lowering the knees, softening the chest to chin to mat, 8 points touching, and then wiggling our way into a cobra. Engaging the back toes, lifting the hips up into downward facing dog. Full cycle of breath. Looking forward, stepping with your left foot front now, lowering the right knee. We're going to lift the arms up, squaring the hips. Inhaling. Complete exhale as we bring our hands forward, sending that front leg to meet, the back leg to meet the front leg. Inhaling, half fold. Exhaling, forward fold, using the prop if you need. Remember, it's your practice. Inhaling as we rise to standing, hands moving through prayer and Tadasana. Inhaling the arms up. Complete exhale as we forward fold, hinging at the hips. Rolling the spine into a half fold, looking out, forward fold. Sending the left leg back, dropping the left knee to the ground. This time we're going to inhale both hands up, low lunge. Squaring the hips, gazing up, gauging the abs, lower ribs in. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands to mat, sending the front leg back to a plank. Hold plank for a second, then we're going to soften the elbows and slowly lower our body with grace. Low plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. We're going to lift up into upward facing dog. So here you flip your toes so they're on the mat, all 10 toes. Thighs are off the ground as your spine is arching. And then we're going to lift back into a downward facing dog. Full cycle of breath. Looking at the top of the mat, you're going to bring your left leg forward, lowering the right knee to the mat, unhooking the toes on your inhale, reaching forward with the hands up and out as you bring the arms up. Low lunge, biceps by the ear, squaring the hips, bringing the low ribs in, gauging the stomach. And lowering the hands to the ground, engaging that back leg. You're going to step it forward. Inhaling as you reach the spine out to a half fold, and then exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, we're going to rise, bring the arms up, moving through prayer and Tadasana. Inhaling, our arms up, forward folding, hinging at the hips. Stepping the left foot back, bringing the right leg to the left into a table. We're going to inhale, cow belly, so release the belly to the mat. Exhaling, curving the spine, cow, and we're going to keep that curve as we send our hips to our heels. Resting in child's pose for a moment. Bring your hands and your arms along the side of your body, or you could keep them stretched out in front of you, whatever's the most comfortable resting pose for you. During this practice, this is a great time to come to child's pose if you feel exhausted, resting in child's pose for a moment to regain, and then joining back in when you're ready. Now we're going to come up to all fours, bringing our hips upward, downward facing dog. Go ahead and spend some time walking your dog, alternating, bending one leg, then the other. And then walking towards the top of the mat, inhaling half fold, exhaling completely forward fold as we roll the spine slowly up to standing. We're going to do a wide-legged stance for a moment before we set up for warrior two. So we're going to rotate the right foot out, pointing towards the short edge of the mat. bending that knee into a lunge, keeping that left leg strong, and that left foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Everything's engaged here in Warrior Two. Hands are out. It's like two children are pulling both arms. So a nice stretch here. Tall spine, engaging the stomach muscles. Bring your hands to hip. We're going to turn that right foot front, facing the front of the room. And then now we're going to spiral the left foot out about 90 degrees, bending the knee, Warrior Two. Now that bent knee should be, the energy should be sending it out towards the middle toe, towards the pinky. So the energy, the spiraling out from your groin out to the outer edge of your thigh. Bring your hands to your hips. Now I'm going to move my block because we're going to need it in just a moment, or your chair. Then we're going to spiral that right foot back out to Warrior Two. We're going to bend the right arm to the right thigh into a side angle. Now a couple options here. You can leave that left hand up straight, or you could bring it over into an angle. So this is more of a extended side angle here. So energy moving from the fingertips all the way down to your toes, your ankles. So you could drop a beadlet of water and it would go all the way down your arm, down your body, down your foot. Reaching back up through Warrior Two. Wide-legged stance. Now we're going to turn the left toes out, bending the left knee, finding Warrior Two on the other side. Bending the left hand, bringing it to your thigh as we reach to side angle. So again, the right hand can reach straight up. Option to keep the gaze upward, or you can bring it down to your foot or straight out. And then if you're feeling wanting to do the deeper stretch, bring the hand over into a complete extended side angle. So oppositional here, energy out of the fingers, sending out of your feet. Moving through Warrior Two, coming back into that wide-legged stance. Grab your block or your chair, and we're going to put it right by your foot, your right foot, bending through Warrior Two, engaging the stomach here. We're going to straighten that right leg. We're going to tip the hips forward, moving through. So we're going to straighten that right arm, and we're going to reach until we can no longer reach anymore, and then we're going to tip it over into triangle. So here you can use the block to help you if you cannot reach the floor yet. Keeping that arm up, gaze upward if that feels comfortable for your neck, or you can look down. It's your practice. But here we want to be careful that we're opening our chest forward and we're not bringing our chest facing the mat. So you want to be flat like a coin rolling on its side, or a piece of bread sliding into a toaster. You don't want to hit the sides. And then inhaling, moving to Warrior Two. Moving your prop to the opposite side. We're going to spiral, turning that foot 90 degrees, the left foot, as we go back into a Warrior Two. Holding for a moment for a breath. Straightening that left leg, tipping the hips forward, reaching out towards that side wall, and then dropping down. Keeping that side stretch. You should really feel it in the top of your hip and in your groin area. Engaging that back leg. Everything is nice and solid and strong. Gaze upward, or if that's uncomfortable for your neck, looking down. Inhaling towards Warrior Two. Bring your hands to your hips. Adjusting your block in front of you. We're in our wide-legged stance. We're going to inhale, looking up, pitching the hips forward. We're going to move through a flat back as we do a wide-legged forward fold. So here you can hold the block if you can't quite reach the floor, or the chair, holding the chair to feel that nice deep hamstring stretch. Or you can bring your hands completely to the floor. Now your weight should be shifted into your toes, so bring your hips and your weight forward instead of back. So almost where you almost can lift your heels. This is great prep work for a headstand or handstand. So some inversions here. Bring your hands to your hips. You're going to come up slowly with grace with a flat back. And then stepping to the front of the mat. Tadasana, strong mountain. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling forward fold, emptying completely. Inhale, half fold. Exhale, forward fold, stepping the left foot back, lowering the knee to the ground. Inhaling the arms up, low lunge. Exhaling, bring the hands to the mat, sending that front leg back, holding into plank, lowering, softening chaturanga. Flipping the toes, keeping the thighs off the ground, upward facing dog. Exhaling completely, downward facing dog. Inhaling, exhaling, letting go. Looking towards the top of the mat, sending the left leg forward into your lunge, lowering the right knee down. Inhaling both arms up. Remember, keeping the biceps by the ears. And then exhaling, bringing the hands to the mat. Bringing that front foot to meet the back into a plank. Lowering slowly to chaturanga. Upward facing dog, thighs off the mat. And downward facing dog. Dropping the knees to the mat, we're going to send our hips back to meet our heels into child's pose, balasana. Resting here for a moment, coming back to your intention, being present in the moment. Being aware of your breath. And then rolling, coming up through table. We're going to send our left leg forward into a low lunge, hooking those back toes. We're going to engage that back thigh up into a crescent, high lunge. Really strong pose. Bringing the hands to the mat, sending that back leg into a plank. We're going to hold plank here, so bear with me. You can do this, it's just muscle. Holding, engaging the glutes, the thighs, the stomach, pushing into the mat, sending now the opposite leg forward into low lunge, lifting into crescent. And then bringing the hands down to the mat, bringing that front leg to meet the back into a table, rolling up to hero's pose, rolling the shoulders. And now we're going to come to the mat. We're going to put our belly on the mat. We're going to do some spine warming exercises. So lifting, pushing the upper body up into a cobra. We're going to hold this for a moment, breathing. And then exhale, lowering down. Next, we're going to keep our hands by our shoulders underneath, but we're going to lift our hands off the ground as we lift using our spine. So rounding the spine, holding ourselves up, and then lowering to the mat. We're going to do this again, but we're going to lift our feet now. So kind of a Superman pose, so we're holding and then releasing into the ground. This time, if you feel like you want to try a little challenge, clasp your fingers behind you and lifting, using their hands as leverage to pull your body up, lifting the thighs up, the feet up, holding, resting, and then relaxing onto the mat. We're going to lift up, and now we're going to turn over onto our back. So lowering onto our spine, bringing our heels to our glutes. We're going to do some bridges. So inhaling as we lift up the spine one vertebrae at a time into a bridge pose, clasping the hands underneath you, pushing your arms into the mat as you lift the hips up even higher. Now bring the heels off the ground and lower slowly one vertebrae at a time. Pausing for a moment and get ready, set up for your bridge again, and then go ahead and lift your hips, roll up off the mat, engage your glutes. Lifting the heels, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time, starting with the top of the neck down. Resting for a moment, engaging your feet closer, and then go ahead and lift the hips back up into your bridge, clasping the hands underneath you, lifting higher, holding it higher, pushing a little higher. You can do it. Very good. Then release the grasp of your hands, lift your heels, lower, rolling down your spine one vertebrae at a time. We're going to take your right leg, ankle, put it over your left thigh. We're going to do a little stretch here, hip opener. You can stay here, or you can reach in and grab your left shin and pull it in towards your body, using your right elbow to push your right knee, which opens the hip. Breathing here. And then go ahead and release it to the floor. And we're going to send our knees to the left and then send them up and back over to the right. And then back up. Now we're going to take the opposite side. So lift your left ankle, put it over your right thigh. You can use your hand here to push your knee away, or pull your right thigh, your right shin in towards your body as you're using your left elbow to move your left knee away. Beautiful stretch here. If you have tight hips or any issues within the hips, this is a great stretch. Now release. We're going to roll to the side, use our hands and arms to lift our body up into a sitting position. We are going to cross our right leg over our right foot over the left, lifting the left hand up. We're going to do a seated twist. So taking that left elbow into your right knee and twisting away from your body. Inhaling as you lift the spine tall, exhale, twist. Looking forward, releasing that, switching the legs, lifting the right arm up now, hooking around the left knee. Inhaling as you bring your spine tall, exhaling, twist. Great way to detox, twisting the organs, twisting the spine. And then looking forward and release that bind. We're going to put our feet straight forward into a staff pose. So flexing the feet, engaging the legs, spine nice and tall, head straight up towards the sky, lifting up, sitting up as tall as you can. Your thighs are engaged, your feet are flexed. This is a very powerful pose. It's very difficult, and it's such an easy pose. Breathing here in this uncomfortable posture, which is very good for you to do. Now we're going to bring in our right knee. So we're going to bend our right leg, keeping the foot inside the left thigh. We're going to reach forward for our toes, keeping the spine nice and straight. So we don't want a curved spine. It's not about how far you can go down, it's about the stretch. So if you want to keep your hands on the mat, if that's more comfortable to feel the stretch, do so. Or you can reach for your toes. As we stay here, you might want to pitch a little forward, hinging at the hips, but keeping the spine nice and straight. And then rolling up, we're going to switch legs. Bring the left foot inside the right thigh, inhaling up as we lean forward. And again, keeping your hands on the mat as you stretch or bring them to your foot. Lowering, stretching a little deeper. And then coming up, we're going to lower our body down to the ground. Hands out like a T. We're going to lift our knees, bring our knees into our chest, and send our heels up. So legs up, kind of like legs up the wall. Now we're going to slowly bring them down. Bring your legs down to the mat, slowly engaging the tummy. And Shavasana, corpse pose. So here we're going to relax for a few minutes, letting go of everything, letting gravity do its work, closing your eyes, Corpse pose is one of the hardest resting pose, because we're such able bodies. But just focus on the breath and relax. Now bringing awareness back into your body, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, taking a long stretch, arms overhead, bending the knees and rolling to one side of the body, using your hand as your pillow, your arm as your pillow. And then when you're ready, coming to an easy sitting position, hands resting on your knees, tall spine. Hands to heart center. Give yourself gratitude for coming to your mat today. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me, and have a great day.